So first I'll read a shokshi for you. This is one we don't read very often, number 16, Kyatsu. I have learned the principle of mind and body unification. I understand ki breathing, and I understand the universal ki moves through my body at any time and in any circumstance. Let's give a fresh start towards happiness to people who suffer from illness or misfortune. By ki of the universe moving through our body. This is like priming a water pump when it is dried out to pull new water up through the pump. I'll come back to why I read this a little bit later. First of all, Happy New Year. And this is the time of year when we leave behind all of our grievances and failures and successes from the previous year and to leave ourselves open to all the possibilities of 2023. With that in mind, we're going to make a very slight change in the format of this class beginning today. I'll still begin the class like this, and I'll make a case for something, and then we'll do ki breathing, ki meditation, and mind-body meditation. But then at 7:35, I'll stop the meditation, and my co-host, Lynn Curtis Sensei, will put you all into rooms, and we'll have 10 minutes of discussion amongst each other on the subject, whatever it is that I brought up. And then at 7:45, we'll open the class. And please choose one spokesperson from each group, and you can make the case that you came upon during your discussion. And of course, if you have questions, that's the time for them. I think that this will make for better understanding and more interesting class, and I hope you enjoy it. This is what we used to do on Friday night class, and I really liked doing that. And as you know, the last class of last year, because my computer went screwy on me, we actually ended up having to do a little discussion group. Everybody loved it. So I think that's probably very useful and interesting to do that. Okay, so today we're still working on 13 rules for instructors by Koichitoi Sensei, and we're on number 8. Even a 1-inch worm has a 1 inch of spirit. Everyone possesses self-respect. Don't diminish others' self-respect by thinking lightly of them. The person who honors others will be honored, and the person who diminishes others will be diminished by them. If you respect other people's personalities and listen to them, they will follow the teaching with all their hearts. This is really why I brought up Gyatso, why I read Gyatso. Because Gyatso is not just something we do by laying on our hands. Gyatso is what's happening every time you're with another person. It doesn't mean they have illness or misfortune, but everyone has issues. Everyone has things that hold them back. Everyone has blind spots. Everyone has difficulties in relating to other human beings, challenges. And so think of our responsibility when we're with another person, just like we're giving them Gyatso. We are there to give them a fresh start to happiness. We're there to support them and make their life easier. And if we do that for them, then we've made a friend, and they'll do that for you. Probably this is the oldest lesson each of us has in our life. Our parents probably told us this when we were very young. Treat others the way you'd like to be treated. It's as simple as that. Now this, one other thing about this is that these 13 rules, he says, are for instructors. Now every one of you is either an instructor now or an instructor in training. Someday you will be an instructor. So they're for all of us. And if you are an instructor, you already know that one of the main responsibilities of an instructor is to help the student get their blind spots clarified, to get out of the way the things that hold them back from moving forward in the teaching, in the practice. The art of being a teacher is to fulfill that responsibility, which we must do, we must not avoid, because that's our purpose, in such a way that we don't shatter the students' self-respect, self-confidence, or dignity. This is not easy to do. And it's something you learn through trial and error. No one can teach you. But how you treat other people is the art of being an instructor, really. And you learn it person by person by person by person. So I think that this is probably the most important of all 13 of these instructions from Toi Sensei. Because this is loving kindness. This is treating people with loving kindness. I know we all want to do that, and we're all working on that. So that's our subject for today. Excuse me. All right, let's begin with some deep breathing.
One, we are talking about giving Kyatso or loving kindness to other people. That is sometimes very difficult if you are stressed or have some bad situations by yourself, and so it's not so easy to really calm you down. And don't do fake news. Yes, you try to do it, but you aren't really calm. And the second one, that sometimes Steffi was in our group, and she's an author, a science fiction author, and she said she has a fan post, and this fan, she has an impression, a first impression of this this person, and that was happening, the halo effect. She has an image, she has an opinion about this person, but she remembers then to really get in connection with this person, and then the discussion opens up, and the cause, not the cause, the impact of this halo effect diminishes, and she gets really a good connection, and she discovers so many new things about in this connection. This was our group discussion. Okay.
Okay. So I think I understand. I'm not sure what you mean by halo effect.
Halo effect is if you you have halo effect is if you have a special image of the person you think is like a star, yeah, as a pop star or so, and you think he's looking very good, and he sure have to be a really kind person and a really nice person, and this impression of his good looking, you concentrate on the other okay, other Eigenschaften. No, I don't know. You know what I mean, yeah? You have been a star too. Okay, könnte sein. Okay. This is halo effect.
Yeah.
If you,
Of course.
how you perceive a situation or a person from the first impression, so.
Yes, so we can, I guess that's expressing that we can be surprised. We can be misled by people by our first impression. Okay, let's just go on to the next one. Thank you.
Hi, this is Joni. We're group 2. Well, we spoke about not so much the loving kindness and Kyatsu as just interacting with different people. Can you hear me?
I can. It's just really unclear.
I don't know why.
As good as it gets. Please go ahead.
Anyway, and so Christoph, because sometimes he speaks to many people and they're far away distance and he hasn't seen them in a long time, and sometimes it interferes with his feeling of connection with them, and he's not sure that they're communicating as clearly as they could or he would like. And then in the dojo, a lot of it was with Aikido partners and teaching we had discussed, and to make sure when you don't get involved with your own self, it's not about you, but about only the student. That's the most important thing, and just to pay attention to that. Briefly, that's what we talked about.
Yeah, I think with both of these, thank you, Joni. I think with both of these comments from room 1 and room 2 are bringing up this thing about us being taking everything personally. We are all narcissistic. We think about ourselves all the time. So when we're in a relationship with someone, instead of looking at their needs, we are feeling our own needs all the time. So it's very difficult to let go of those feelings, even though they might be haloed, they might be false, they might be impressionistic, or as Joni points out, they might be kind of dulled from lack of being together over a period of time. So instead of focusing on the other person, which is basically what this is saying, give yourself over to the other person. When you're doing Kyatsu, there's no question you're never thinking of yourself. You're never thinking about, well, I'm sure doing a good job doing Kyatsu. I mean, if you are, it's not Kyatsu. You're not really benefiting the other person. In order for ki to move from us to the other person, we have to move. We have to be completely open to them and put our attention to them. Ki extension means moving your attention there. When I put my attention on someone, I am extending ki to them. So it's giving the other person all of your attention, whether you're just listening to what they have to say or whether you're saying something to them. As long as you're opening yourself to them and giving them the respect of that, that's the key here, I think. Okay, next one.
Hello, I'm from group 3, and we mainly discussed about communication. I would say that in general, if we will start with respect any communication, any connection, then it usually goes well and quite fruitful. But when we start with any blaming and aggression, then we will get the same back. And this is quite obvious can be seen in Aikido on a mat. Yeah, and additionally, Roy reminds us that about communication between instructor and students and how to properly correct students. It's quite difficult to do this without respect. And Roy remind that Koichi Takei told that not that a person doing wrong, but that something is missed, or just a little bit better, or something like just a little correction, and with respect. And this gives an to student, how to say, motivation to do it better, and to try to do it better. And yeah, and we just share between each other this, and yeah.
Yeah, I think that that's a really good point there that you're making, or that Roy was making. You know, that no one wants to hear everything about their shortcomings. So you have to take a little tiny bit at a time and gradually move us along. Because on the other hand, we are here to learn. But learning, the teacher's idea of learning and your idea of learning may be very, very far apart. So that thing about everybody has their own path, and it's never the path that you have, it's theirs. So we have to follow little by little their path. Okay, I see this is taking longer than I planned. So let's go on to the next person.
Hello, this is Aiko from Home 4. I was with Joel and with Vitaly, and we have been talking about respect mostly. Yeah, or we have been talking about respect, and that it takes time to develop. It's not just something you do one time and then it is there. No, you have to do it again and again and again and again, and then it will show up in the other person too, especially if it is something that's disrespectful or whatever. And it doesn't matter so much where it is. It doesn't have to be in the dojo. It even can be in a monastery, and the monks have their issues too. And each group behaves in the dojo and the monastery. It behaves in one way, and in the outside world, it is different. So you have to come back to the respect and show respect for other people, and it takes time to build in each one, I think. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not good at speaking. And I don't know if I remember everything, but that's all for this time. Thanks.
Thank you, Aiko, very much. Nice to see you. Okay, next room, please. Was there more rooms?
Hello, Sensei. Hi, everyone. We had Melly and Gloria, but we couldn't hear Gloria talk at all. And both of them never heard the intro of the class. They had audio, so they couldn't hear your opening talk. So we scrambled to our books and I read the number 8. To me, of course, Melly Sensei says a very deep teaching. And I believe that too. To me, like Entoku, and this one is the most important in my learning at the dojo over these years, is hearing it over and over, bits by bits. And because most times when you meet a person, you know, if you're not doing that, you just automatically judging. And man, that person, you know, but then after a while you get to meet the person more and more, you go, oh, that guy's really pretty good, actually, you know. So I've taught my children this, my adult children this, and myself. I get to practice all the time. And it's very, very helpful that, because like you said, Sensei, over the years that people in different parts of the world, certain traditions are totally opposite. But yet, if you use key principles, it's international, and it goes beyond religion, beyond cultures. If you just keep one point and pay attention, it usually works out pretty well.
Thank you very much.
Right.
And may I add, beyond politics? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Here, you know how we often look at the other person's point of view, like where did they get these ideas and how can they believe such things? But just imagine that if you're thinking that about them, I guarantee you they're thinking that about you. And how does that make you feel? You know, you don't have to agree with everybody, but you have to respect them, lovingly respect them, not out of some kind of rule. And that's the danger of this. I mean, I hear all these groups there, and me too, all of us are giving these really great advices. You know, we've got it down. We know what's supposed to be happening. But, you know, the question is, later today and tomorrow morning, will we be doing this with every person we meet? You know, that's where the rubber hits the road, and that's what really counts. And that's why Eiko said it's slow. Yes, what's really slow is not them getting our respect, but us learning to respect. Because we learn person by person, by saying the wrong thing, by not respecting, by judging. We see what it does to them. And if we're really observant, we might even notice what it does to us. Have I missed someone? Is there anyone else that had something to say?
Hi, Sensei. Good morning.
Oh, hello.
I'm in a group with Bill. We talk about this topic. We all know how we should respect others, like how we want to be respected. Yet at the same time, when we're being challenged, a lot of times we lose our cool, we lose our calmness. We feel threatened. We want to be in a position that put others in a more inferior position so that we can win. We can win our arguments and all this. And at the same time, this is a reflection of our own weakness. And Bill said, yeah, he's aware that a lot of times it happens to him, his work, everyday's life, and sometimes it brings back the past experience, get into the way and forget about the present. And so it brought up a discussion also that we just read your transcript on Wednesday about the right practice. And it reminds me that at the moment, at the present, we should listen to others. We should open up to all possibilities to go through that experience at that moment. And a lot of times we forget about that. We let our past, our history, you know, get into the way. And I think this is also what Kyatsu is about. At the moment, just forget about ourselves, but to give key to others. And then, even though in a very uncomfortable position, the exposure to everything. So you know, that's kind of sum up what we talk about.
Thanks. Yeah, I think that it's, we don't always like to realize that we are conditioned creatures, that we act from our conditioning because it makes us feel like an automaton. And that's not all there is. There is a big freedom below that at the tip of the iceberg. But the operating mechanism that we have when we're talking to another person or interacting with things in this life, those are all conditioned upon our past, as you say. And so each moment is very important because we're creating how we are going to respond in the future. The more times we lose it, the more times we'll lose it in the future. The more times we're able to rest in one point and respect others, the more we'll be able to do that in the future. I think that's everyone. We're a little bit over time. We'll try to streamline this, our operation for everybody a little bit more next time. Thank you so much. Domo arigatou gozaimashita.